All right, legends, let's do a little bit of technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. Let me put the music here ever so slightly in the background. Welcome to another live stream. Let's analyze. As per the thumbnail, is it over? Okay, can the low be in? Is Bitcoin teasing us over here? You know, it just wants to take this low, okay? And it just stopped, right? It literally just stopped. Is there a chance for this corrective structure to be over? Okay, maybe this is the top. You formed a running flat ever so slightly, not claiming that low. And now we're gonna yeah, to the upside. Guys, the one thing I just want to mention, okay, I'm not sure it's going to play out, but the one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the pro community this morning, but I did speak to someone about it. Everyone has turned so damn bearish. Every single YouTube channel, every influencer, social media, it's just bearish. We're going down, the correction's not over. How deep are we going to go? Blah, 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 blah. How crazy would it be for Bitcoin to do this and claim the high again? It would be absolutely, from a psychology perspective, it would just be absolutely amazing for Bitcoin to find its feet, not claim the low, and say, hello, here we go, here to the upside. Right, there's a chance, okay, and I'm going to go through some scenarios, but there's a chance that the low is in. There's a chance. There's a count that supports the low being in, okay? And then there's a count that says, okay, well, it's all shit's going to break loose and we are going to go here to $100,000, maybe find support here inside of this consolidation area, okay? We're going to speak about those scenarios as well because, I mean, the world has just turned so bearish so quickly at the moment. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are also feeling that sentiment. If you're watching, maybe just not just my YouTube channel, but maybe you're watching other influencers as well. Okay, yeah, it's just very bearish at the moment, and I would love, okay, for $117,000, that little pivot over there. Woo! If the bulls can claim that pivot, and I will go through the scenarios and I'll show you guys why that pivot is so important. Okay. Right, legends. Remember, from a corrective structure perspective, we all know a nice little ABC, three-wave corrective structure. ABC. Then you get a flat, okay? A, B, C. So basically, you take the high, you take the low. That's what we recall a flat corrective structure. Then you get a running flat, A, B, C, and it continues, okay? So a running flat means only the B wave takes the high, but the C does not take the low. So what I'm trying to highlight over here is that A, B, C, you did not take that low. It's close. I'm not going to argue. It's very close, right? But it did not take the low. Technically, the market structure is still intact. What if the bulls, okay, surprise us over here? And everyone that's bearish, that sold their altcoin portfolios and their swing trades and that chickened out of their trades, what if, okay, price just starts rampaging here to the upside, forcing those people to buying in higher levels? Who knows? Who knows, guys? Okay. Right. So there's a couple of trades we took today together as a community. I will go through that as well. One, I got stopped out with a small little loss, and then the next one, bang! It was amazing. Okay, just made the stop loss back, plus some profits in the back, got stopped out at break even, and then I highlighted the short, which I did not take, and I will tell you guys why I did not take the short. It partially played out, okay? So it was a successful trade, but I didn't take it because of probabilities, and I'll explain that in a second as well. Legends, remember to smash up that like button. I'm having some fun over here, okay? And yes, sorry guys, I'm getting a lot of messages here on my phone, which is distracting me, so I'm just turning my phone around so I'm not distracted. I can pay attention. Okay, and let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the new intro song. For those of you that were here listening to the intro song, my brother made me a fresh new song. For me, I told him, your best work so far, because that's typically the music that I will listen to on the music when I'm outside barbecuing, having a braai, a couple of beers or a whiskey or tequila, whatever the case might be. That is my favorite type of music. Okay, so told my brother I'm going to play it for the community. Hate it, love it, I don't care, right? It's my show at the end of the day, right? And let's go. Let me know in the comments if you did like it. Okay, so legends, let's talk a couple of scenarios over here. Okay, let's just get the obvious scenarios out the way. And what I'm potentially going to do is I'm going to talk about the bearish case scenarios first. Let's just get the bearish case scenarios out the way, and then we can talk about, well, what if? Okay, let's talk about that what if. What if the low is in? Okay, and we're going to take this high. Okay, but we need, the bulls has got some work. The bulls have some work to do. They need to claim this pivot. Okay, $117,000. Right, so now let's see. The first scenario I want to go through is not that one. There was a short setup that actually played out. I will go through that in a moment in the smaller time frames. That's the one I want to talk about. And then let's talk about the most bearish case scenario, guys, is that this could potentially be your impulse. Okay, this is your impulse, and this is your A, B, and we are absolutely going to tank here in a C wave to the downside. And this little mess over here is a nested of 1-2 structures, because remember guys, ideally what you want to see in a C wave, okay, ideally what you want to see is you want to see a 1 2 3 4 5, done, you go back up. But it's effing around, okay, it's really stuffing around. It's just dropping, correcting, dropping, correcting, dropping, correcting. It's not falling, and it's not typical behavior of a C wave. C waves are usually fast, they are aggressive, they scare the shit out of everyone. They are even more aggressive than third waves, okay? And you know, it's that thing that where people say you climb the stairs to the upside and you jump out the window on the way down. Those are C waves, okay? They are very aggressive and they scare the hell out of everyone. But it's not falling, it's stuffing around over here. So it's either building up for something much deeper here to the downside, okay, because it's forming nested 1-2s. And let me maybe zoom into the structure. Okay, so let's zoom in, guys. So this is the only way that it currently makes sense to me, is that you have formed, look at the blue count first, you formed a 1 and a 2, okay, you have 5 waves, a 3-wave corrective structure in a 2, okay, then you want to go down in a 3, then you want to complete 4 and you want to complete 5, but you want to stay at this 106, 105. You want to stay inside of this zone, okay, to complete your 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you can see, so basically from a simplicity perspective, and this is why I drew the trends over here, you start with a mess, okay, grinding structure, you start with a mess, you get the big fall to the downside, that gap, okay, that God candle, that just selling pressure starts kicking in here, and because of this crap over here, you also end up in, or end off in, a grinding structure, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. And then this is a very interesting zone after you have a massive drop to the downside, and it keeps chopping, chopping, chopping. This is a very interesting area to look for a long back to the upside, especially if I see this price action. So for the bears, you want to wait for the fall, okay? And this is not where you long, okay? Because of this mess, you need to wait for price to chop, 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 okay? Maybe there's a nice little parallel channel or channels situation forming over there, and you wait for the breakout and you play the breakout back to the upside. But it's a very interesting zone to look for along. This is, for now, the most bearish case scenario that I have, is that we're building up a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, can you guys see? This could be an ABC. Okay, it rejects and it falls here aggressively. Now this, guys, is the moment, okay, I think that the bears are waiting for. The bears are waiting for this drop. Okay, and it's almost there. Okay, so if this needs to reject, let me zoom into the 15-minute time frame. I'm going to show you exactly where it needs to reject. Okay, so for the bears, this is where you short, right? Because now I need to stay neutral, because we could definitely drop here, guys. It's not a guarantee that we're going up. I know that I'm singing the song of what if this is the low and we're going to move up, but we have to stay realistic that this could definitely be, okay, 5-wave structure down. You can count 5 waves in this wave 1. 3-wave corrective structure in a 2. Now you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in another one. Another 3-wave structure in a 2. You have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you can have another one, A, B, C here to the upside. You're not allowed to take this high. Okay, not allowed to take this high. Now, this is why $117,000, okay, is so important. Right, let me put the music a little bit softer here in the background. This is why okay guys, it's almost $117,000 is so important, because if price can manage to find the strength here to the upside, it will invalidate a 1 and a 2, another 1 and 2, and it invalidates the entire structure to the downside, which means the low could be in. And once you tap this level, a retracement is going to be a very attractive longing opportunity for a swing trade back to the upside to potentially go and claim the high again. Okay, now you know, based on the structure, why this line is so important for the bulls to claim. So for the bears, right, you want to take a fib from this high to the low of the structure. Doesn't matter whether you take this low or that low. Let's just take it from the lowest pivot of the structure. The bears maximum target, you want to see a rejection inside of this zone. That's where it needs to reject for your second wave over here. Okay, your second wavy over here, that's where it needs to reject. Maximum target, preferably 786. Okay, 50% fib, 618, this is where it needs to reject, because this is where all hell could break loose. Because if this thing creates an ABC 3-wave structure here to the upside and it rejects, maybe it rejects here by this little pivot. That's a nice little pivot to get a rejection together with a 786. If it moves up here and it finds weakness and it starts breaking down, it could get really, really bad here to the downside. Okay, so for the bears, this is where you're looking for a short. Your stop goes above the high, or even glued to the high, because you know if you tap that high, the bulls are starting to take control. Right, so a great shorting opportunity. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm just doing this for entertainment purposes. Right, so you take that with a grain of salt and decide how you want to manage that trade. Okay, so for the bears, this is where you need to reject, guys. You have a 5-wave structure to the downside. You form a 3-wave structure to the upside. By the way, we have already tapped the 0.382, which is a minimum requirement for a second wave. So it's already there. There's already a chance that it can just fall, like bang, yeah, to the downside. Okay, ideally it still finds a little bit more upwards momentum, but there's a chance that it could reject. Okay, right, we have hit minimum target 0.382. That's where price is currently struggling at the moment. If I zoom in here, you guys can see, okay, right, this is where price is struggling at the moment, at the 0.382. This is where it is. It's can like to be struggling to break here to the upside, but there's a little clue, and maybe this clue will be it. There's a little clue that I will discuss here on the smaller time frame. This little clue tells me that there's a probability that's slightly higher that price will still find maybe a little bit more of upwards momentum because of what happened over here. Right, Cool, but I mean, guys, these are SFPs, okay? You can get in with such good risk management, okay? If you know how to play SFPs, you can have exceptionally good risk management where you don't even have to put your stop loss here and take on all of this risk. You just have to take on that risk, right? If you can get in, you know how to sniper these levels. I know the pro members, they know how to sniper these levels, okay? Right, legends. So now what we need to do is, okay, go through some more scenarios. So this is the most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment, right? Is price rejects before claiming this high, okay? It rejects and it falls. So important levels to keep in mind to the downside for those of you that like to have your levels ready like myself is, let's zoom back here onto the 1 hour time frame. You take your trend-based FIP from the high, okay, from the high, you click again, and you click again, okay, and these levels are the levels that you need to pay attention to, right? So let's see how price reacts. If we're going to claim this low over here, I would at least want price to tap the 1.236, get acceptance back above. That's a longing opportunity. Okay, because you can still scalp this range. I don't know how deep this is going to fall, but I mean, if this, guys, if this is a nested 1-2s building up, I don't know if this level is going to hold. It's gonna fall, guys. It's going to really crash here to the downside, okay? 4545, but yeah, by the 618 is where you want price to start finding its feet, okay? It needs to start curling over. You need to see some hidden bullish CVD, classic bullish bullish divergence. This is what you want to see in this little range over here, and that is the moment where you need to look for long. Okay, so let's go through a couple of more scenarios, and then I'll jump in and I'll jump into the smaller time frame right over there. So let's take this out the way. There is a chance for a contracting, okay, C wave here to the downside. Same scenario, okay, lower probability because double 1-2s or nested 1-2s always takes priority over diagonals. But this is an ending diagonal, which takes higher probability than a leading diagonal. So this is why I'm discussing it second over here. Okay, A, B, and the C wave is finishing in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. And then it can find support here. Okay, this is why I know that I can get in there with really good risk management. Okay, especially if price gets acceptance back above this low over here. Guys, if it's going to be a nested 1-2s and it's going to crash here to the downside, it's not going to fall and do that. It's going to fall and do this to the downside, okay? If price had to fall, and these are some of the clues that I look for. If price had to fall and it gets acceptance back above, and especially if price gets acceptance back above these lows over here, it does this. Now that is a ticket for me to say, okay, I'm interested in a swing long back to the upside. Okay, it has to be said, and I know people love diagonals and patterns. Okay, it has to be said that this scenario carries lower probability than the previous scenario because it's a diagonal. Yes, it can play out because we did have a diagonal inside of this structure. Okay, just want to remind everyone. Diagonals do play out, okay? We had a diagonal inside of this structure. For those of you who remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, A, B, C. Okay, they do play out, right? So let's get back here onto the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so the FIP is exactly the same FIP. It just means that your fifth wave is going to end over here where you're considering this an impulse, okay, and this a corrective structure and continuation back to the upside. Right, let's go on to Okay, there's a second one, but it has the same outcome as this one. It has the same outcome. So 2 different counts where I actually like this count more because it's not a diagonal, which in turn then carries higher probability, but it has the same outcome. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm counting the structure as an A, B, okay, C, which gives you a W. Then you have a three-wave structure in an X, and now we're forming an A, B, C to the downside. Pay attention to the 0.618. You take your fib from the high to the low of W to the high of X, and then you get this level. Very similar to the contracting diagonal. It has the same result. Different count, same result. Okay. But if we had to bounce here and get acceptance back above this low, okay, it's the same trade, different count. But if I had to count the structure and it does play out, I would rather count the structure like this, because any structure that does not contain a diagonal always carries higher probability than a diagonal structure. Okay. So that was just for shits and giggles that I worked this one out, and then I want to see if there's anything else. Now, okay, let's get to the exciting part. The part that everyone is waiting for. Dewald, yes, boot, I'm a little bearish. My brother's here in the live stream. You must probably listen to the song that I played here for everyone during the intro. I will say hi and have a nice little chat with the community after I'm done here with the technical analysis. So keep those comments flowing. Seems like Dewald watches Koen's YouTube videos. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if Koen watches me or I watch Koen, but sometimes I do watch Koen's YouTube videos. But I have to say, Koen's have taught me a lot about Elliott wave theory. I used to be part of his community so that I can learn Elliott wave theory. So often myself and Koen do talk about the same structures, because Elliott wave theory is Elliott wave theory at the end of the day. Okay, and a lot about what I know of Elliott wave theory I have learned from Koen's, and I always give Koen's credit, especially if he talks about something that gives me aha moment. Then I give him credit where credit is due. Okay, right. Now, what if, okay, and this is a scenario that I highlighted to the Legends Pro community this morning. And I can guarantee you I did not see this from Koen's. This is something that I highlighted to the community after counting some waves extensively this morning here to the downside. Okay, so completed. Is it this one? Right, here we go. Let's zoom into the structure. This structure can be counted as completed here to the downside. Okay, you have an ABC in W, you have a complex three-wave corrective structure in X, and to complete your Y wave, you have formed an A, B, C. Where the C ended over here, where that ended over here, it's irrelevant. I had my 5 here this morning here below this low, and then we made a new low, so I just moved it up. So there is a way that you can count a completed corrective structure to the downside. There's a way. Okay, so for the bulls, in this scenario, you need to go and claim $117,000. Okay, to invalidate that impulse, that nasty little structure, the nested 1-2s to the downside. Okay, so there you go, guys. There you go. From a trading perspective, I mean, you could have your trends ready, right? This is what I like to do. You know, you either play the swing failure patterns or you play the breakout strategies with good risk management. You apply the rules. You guys know where to put your stop losses. So from a trend line perspective, okay, one thing that I will be keeping an eye on is the break of this little trend. Okay, I can take this one out the way. And you can see that is where price is rejecting at the moment. Right? Okay, so you want to see some high time frame candle closes above. That will be a sign of strength. Okay, you need to take that high, TP1. Okay, well, that's, yeah, you need to take this high, okay, TP1, because you could still reject. You guys know that big rejection. This is why, guys, you need to manage your risk properly if you play this breakout over here, because of that bearish case scenario that looms. Okay, but this could be the moment that sends us to $117,000, and then potentially you have a better entry here to the downside. Right, but I would rather wait for confirmation trade. So from a swing trade perspective, if I'm planning to open up a larger position, I would rather wait for this high to be claimed. Okay, and then I will look for retracements to get in. Maybe there's a nice little trend. I'll play that breakout, for example. Okay, I have been scalping these ranges with high leverage, small position trades like a crazy person, okay, over the last couple of days together with the Legends Pro community. Right, so this is basically your count in terms of where the low could potentially be in. It's done. Right, which will then say, well, if this is the top, you have formed a running flat. You did not take the low. Although it's very strange because we came so close. It came very, 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 very close. I think we even tapped the 0.9 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, if you take a fib from the low to the high, yeah, I mean, you know, and that, you know, I just have to say it, guys. I just have to say it, okay? When you tap the 0.88, you do unfortunately increase the probability that you're going to take this low. Okay, but there's a way that you can count a completed corrective structure. Okay, so you just need to apply your trading strategy. And I think that was something interesting. I also spoke about it in Dylan's live stream this morning when he was live. I just mentioned to the people there as well, you know, it's not about, sometimes you have to ignore the noise, the sentiment. Sometimes you just need to apply your trading strategy, okay, and ignore the noise. Everyone's bearish, so what? Everyone's bullish, so what? You just apply your trading strategy. You know what rules you need to apply. You know how much risk you can take on per trade. You know where to take profits. You know where to put your stop loss. You just execute your trade. Whether it's a short or a long, you just execute. That's from a day trading perspective. Obviously, if you're an investor or you have swing positions open from much lower, then obviously you want price to go up. So you have bias towards price going up. But from a day trading perspective, I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about the scenarios that I've just shared over here from a day trading perspective. I just want levels where I can get in and out. I mean, look at this beautiful swing failure pattern from the low. I was driving during this time, but I can tell you now, if I saw this, I would have longed this. I would have longed here like a crazy person because I can apply my strategy with good risk management. Okay, so yeah, I missed this long and I was waiting for it because I knew there was a high chance to claim this low and get acceptance back above. I was waiting for it, and unfortunately I was driving, and I do not FOMO into trades. It's part of my rules. I follow my rules. I do not FOMO into trades. If I did not catch it, I don't FOMO. Okay. Right. So now what I want to do is I want to go into the smaller time frames. Okay. Let's maybe go into the 5-minute time frame. I just want to talk about some of the trades that we took together as a community, also from an education perspective. Okay. And maybe before I do that, remember to smash up the like button, and also let me go through some comments. Okay. Stefan, good to see you, mate. Yeah, Stefan 1 is always here in the live stream giving support. I appreciate you. And Pac-Man, the moderators, always appreciate you guys being here as well. Thomas, I want a target and SL. Okay, if the legend let me, I'll take my spot again. Lol, Pac-Man, how are you doing, sir? Are you guys just talking to each other? One? Suggest me about Ondo. I was smoking my socks and got late. Yes, people, yeah, we love to smoke our socks, right? We love to smoke our socks. Dewald has best TA on YouTube by far. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate it. I won't say that I'm the best, but what I can tell you is I do try my best. I really, you know, one of the mottos that I live by is not to mislead my community. And one of my mottos is I try my best not to be biased, but to make biased decisions based on technical analysis. I really try my best. I am human. I do make mistakes, but I can tell you guys now, I do not burn accounts anymore. I used to, but I do not burn accounts anymore, okay? I might get my technical analysis wrong, but when I'm wrong, like this morning, I took a trade and I got stopped out. But my stop loss was 0.09% away. And then the next trade that played out a couple of minutes later, I made all that money back plus profits in the bag. Okay, so you know, you have to manage your risk. Right. Both Dewald and Koens are excellent traders. Yes, Koen is an amazing trader. Koens is also a confirmation trader. I know Koens' trading style. I've seen him talk about his trading style. Koens is, I know, I mean, I haven't watched Koens' update today. I don't know if he posted an update today or yesterday, but anyways, I know Koens is a type of trader that will wait for this line to be tapped, because I know Koens is going to wait for confirmation. Koens is one, and Andy, myself as well. If you're looking for a swing trade, for a bigger movement, okay, low leverage, obviously managing your risk properly, you want price to confirm that it is changing direction. So then you have confirmation bias towards the upside, okay? So they will wait for this. And I know Andy's waiting for this as well. I'm also waiting for this from a swing trade perspective. Okay, because once you tap this, you invalidate some of those bearish case scenarios. And then it makes it very interesting to start looking for longs, because you have confirmation that price could be going to higher levels. Okay. My style of trading, and it's actually very interesting, guys. I looked through my journal yesterday. And you know, it's always great to try and identify your strengths and your weaknesses. And every trader has strengths and weaknesses. And there's no trader that can tell me that they don't have any weaknesses. Okay, it's about acknowledging your weaknesses and trying to build rules around it to manage it. Okay, everyone says you need to be robotic about your trades, but we are humans. We have emotions. You can't just switch your emotions off. What makes you successful in trading is to have rules built around managing your emotions. Very important. Okay. Right. So one of my strengths, according to my journal and according to my track record that I read yesterday, is that my strength is catching bottoms and tops. One of my strengths is to catch a top. One of my strengths is to catch a bottom. Okay, that's one of my strengths. Most of my successful trades that I have shared inside of the community is catching these little tops. I'm not saying these are the ones that I caught. I'm just saying that's one of my strengths in my journal, is that some of the entries that I've had was like, I caught a short, for example, over there. I caught a long exactly over there. One of my strengths is to catch the tops and the bottoms. My weakness is I take too much profits too quickly, and I don't let enough of the position run. That's one of my weaknesses. So I prematurely get out of the trade without maximizing my profit. So my strength is, okay, I know it from my data, is I am able to catch these little pivots. It's one of my strengths. I know exactly, because I use my trend-based fib extensions. I play my SFPs. I get in, and many of these tops I have caught, and many of these bottoms I have caught. My weakness is I take profits too soon and get out of the positions. So I'm still profitable, but I can be way more profitable if I can learn to leave a moonbag open every time. Just leave a goddamn moonbag open. Because often I'll be like, I'm happy, you know, let's just close the position. I'll look for new opportunity. Because that's also one of my strengths, is finding new opportunities. So I know that even by closing the trade, I will find a new opportunity. But one of my weaknesses is, I mean, okay, why didn't you just leave more of the position open? Okay, patience, leave it open, go to bed, let the position run. It is protected. Right, so I thought I would just share that with everyone, because no trader is perfect. One of my weaknesses is I don't leave enough open for higher or lower levels, depending on whether I'm longing or shorting, because I just want to get the trade over and done with and go to bed without having anything open in the background. Because it does impact my sleep for some reason. Even if my positions are protected and I'm in profit, for some reason it impacts my sleep. And I've learned this about myself by keeping a journal, a track record. Okay, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's not crazy bad, because I'm still staying profitable at least. So that's the good thing. It's not making me not profitable, but I know that I can be way more profitable if I just leave the goddamn, guys, I can tell you now, if I was not driving this morning, so, this is now the what if scenario, I could almost guarantee you guys, I would have had an entry right over there. And my position would have been protected. And I would have taken profits at the highs. Okay? So let's say price just runs here to the upside. Maybe I will take some more profits here, and generally I will somewhat close the position. It's like, okay, I've had enough, let's close the position, okay? And then I miss out on all of this. That's usually what happens to me. I miss out on all of this, and I need to find a new opportunity to get in. Okay, and I had this entry. That's the entry I had. And that's what my journal is showing me. Dewald, you are so good at catching tops and bottoms with applying your strategies, but you do not leave enough open for higher or lower levels. So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I'm not perfect as a trader. Right, let's go. That's the OG style, Dewald, no worries. Red Hat, Dewald, what do you use for journaling your trades? I use, I don't know if I have that website. Guys, I don't know if I have this website bookmarked. Let me see if I have it bookmarked. In the next live stream, I will share it with everyone. There's a site that I use that integrates, okay? But mostly I have a notebook, guys, here right next to me. It's always open, okay? And I go through about 2 or 3 of these notebooks a year. Okay, I have a notebook. And yeah, it's green, so the green screen behind me makes you not see the book, but I have a notebook and I take notes. Every single time I take a trade, I make notes, specifically from an emotional state. Okay, how much I'm risking, what is the sentiment. I used to have an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm past the Excel spreadsheet side. I now just keep notes of the most important things. Especially from a market structure perspective. And yeah, I do have an Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to share inside of the course. There's also a website, a journaling website that integrates with your exchange, so it automatically pulls out all the data and you can add extra things to it. But it's especially when you're starting out, guys, it's very important to keep record of your trades, because you learn your strengths and weaknesses by keeping a journal. That's why it's so important. That's why I know that my weakness is I don't keep positions open long enough, and my strength is I manage to find lows and highs. Right. Okay. So now, guys, I want to go back here onto the 5-minute time frame. Let's just clean up the chart over here. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. And guys, before we carry on, okay, down in the description of this video, okay, let me zoom in so everyone can see this crispy clear. Yes, everyone can see this, okay. Bluffin is at the moment, no lies, my favorite exchange. Used to be Bybit, but Bluffin has now kicked Bybit's ass, in my opinion. I still have money in Bybit. I still do trade on Bybit, but Bluffin is amazing from a... Guys, if you have a large account, if you are trading with, you know, $50,000, $25,000, $10,000, or $1 million, or $500,000, it is really an amazing exchange from a liquidity perspective. There's no slippage. They have massive liquidity. You get low fees. You get upgraded, okay, depending on how much you deposit to VIP status 1 and 2, which gives you even lower fees. But also with my style of trading and the types of moves that I play, fees doesn't really impact my profitability. Yes, it has a small impact, but you know, I would rather drive a Rolls Royce, okay, then trade on an exchange where my stop loss doesn't kick in, or there's slippage, or you know, whatever the case might be. So for the larger traders, I really recommend Bluffin if you haven't given it a go. Go and try it out, guys. It's, you know, put $10 in there and just go play around with it. It's an amazing exchange. Right. Also for you guys, if you do sign up, okay, you also get 10% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. And BTCC, I also trade on BTCC. I still have swing trades open on BTCC. Weeks, I see you guys still love weeks. I get a lot of comments about weeks, guys, especially for the scalpers, okay, because you can buy the native token as well. I have no affiliation with a native token. You buy that at your own risk, okay. The WXT token, if I'm not mistaken, but the more native tokens you hold for the exchange, the more you get discount on trading fees. So from a scalping perspective, Weeks is absolutely amazing. Right, links down in the description. This is where you get the best deals and sign up bonuses. Okay, now let's get back into this price action. There was, where can it have liked to been? Okay, so I just need to get my bearings straight here again. Okay, so there was a long position that I took. It was a long position that I took. Right, so first thing is I had a fib from the low to the high. Okay. And I think I measured this move here to the downside, just from an education perspective. Was it A, B? I think it was this one. I just need to find my bearings. Yep, it was this one. Okay, so let me take this one out the way just to clean it up so everyone can see what I mean over here. Let's just drag it across. Okay, so what happened is this morning, okay, let me do this. I think this is going to be way better. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, this is what happened this morning. We pumped here to the upside. Okay, this is just me applying my strategy, and then I measured this corrective structure. Because I thought that's the end of the impulse. This looks like the first correction. B flat to the upside, tap flat targets to perfection. Can you guys see? This is where I use Elliott wave theory as part of my trading strategy. So anyone that tells me Elliott wave theory sucks, well, I caught this very successful trade based here on Elliott wave theory. Corrective structure, and then I told the legends, keep an eye on the 1.618. Okay, this was the first trade, and bam, we got a reaction. And as we got the reaction, I entered. Okay, and I had my stop here below the low. Gonna have to zoom in a little bit more so everyone can see. Guys, this is just purely from an education perspective, but look at the reaction that you got. Okay, that's what I look for, is the reaction. You got a reaction. That's where I entered. As soon as it dipped below, it pumped back up. I entered with my stop below the low, and I got stopped out. And I told, this is what I shared inside a Legends Pro community. Okay, let me see, where was this trade? Right, there we go. Guys, I'm in. Nailed it. I'm in. Okay, the stop loss was 0.09% away. Okay, and then I got stopped out. Very aggressive trading, part of the game, keeping the losses very small. But then I got in again at the 2 extension. Okay, I was waiting because I knew that it was going to turn around. There was some bully CVD as well, and then we tapped the 2 extension, and this is exactly where I entered with my stop below the low. Okay, beautiful trade, right? As soon as price got the momentum up, I protected my position. Told the legends, free trade. I don't mind getting stopped out. It's a free trade. Okay, as soon as price pumped here to the upside, I think we got here in this zone. I told everyone I'm taking 20% profits. It will cover my fee and it will pay back the stop loss. Done. So my stop loss is paid for the previous trade, and I've covered my fees if I do get stopped out of this trade. We pumped a little bit higher. We claimed this high. I took another little bit of profits. I didn't close the position, okay, because my weakness is I don't leave trades open for long enough. God damn it. And then bang, I got stopped out. Okay, out of the trade. I mean, this is now, it basically stopped me out again. Right, but at least I got stopped out with profits. Right, but the trade that I was waiting for, like I was really waiting for the trade, was claiming the lows. I was waiting for this. And then I was driving. Okay. SFP from the lows. I mean, guys, if I was in front of the BC, I would have traded this. Definitely. I know myself, I would have traded that. But I also highlighted a shorting opportunity. And this is currently the trade that I want to talk about now. So this was the short setup that I spoke about in the Legends Pro community. The range high strategy or range low strategy, depending on which direction price is coming. I said, guys, okay, let's do this. Yeah, it was the first trade I highlight. No, it was not this one. Sorry, guys. Let me go back a little bit up. Yeah. Okay, you guys can see how fresh the structure still was. I'm looking for a rejection at the range high. Okay, Dewald, as long as you are in profit, that's all that matter. Never be too greedy. Phantom, I agree. That's my philosophy as well, and that's why I'm still profitable. Because although I take profits too soon, okay, I know I can maximize my profits. As long as I'm still just profitable, I'm happy. But I will work. I need to work on that. Okay, I can't just be happy with. You have to grow as a human. But guys, this was the range high strategy that I highlighted, and I basically told the legends, possible short, I'm looking at range high. Remember the rules of the strategy. Price needs to tap and fall. Okay, and then this happened. Okay, there's the range high. It has confluence with a 0.5 Fibonacci and that pivot. That's what I refer to as the range high. The reason I did not take the trade is because if you go to the 15-minute time frame, this is my rules, guys. I need to follow my rules, and I sometimes miss out on trades because I follow my rules, but I can tell you my rules have saved my ass a lot of times. Okay, my rules state, let me just take this out the way. If you close the body of at least the 15-minute time frame above the line, okay, there's a high chance you're going to claim or fill the inefficiency. You're going to fill the inefficiency. So we did get the rejection, and then I told the legends, sorry guys, okay, I had to follow my rules. Okay, that's my rule. If you close bodies above, I can't enter. Okay, or maybe I can, but I'm going to go in with way less capital. So I didn't take this trade, but I know that some of the pro members did take this trade because I highlighted it, and we did actually get acceptance back below. You put your stop above, okay, and guys, and as price was falling over here, I told everyone, if you did take the trade, please remember to pay yourself on the way down, because it's not guaranteed that you're going to sweep this low. Because you also have to remember, from a liquidity perspective, a liquidity game, okay, you've already grabbed the liquidity. The business is done down here. You've already completed the business down here. So there's not a good chance that you're going to come and claim this low again, because you already claimed the liquidity. It's the game of liquidity. So because we made this low and we closed the bodies above, I decided to stay out of the trade. But nonetheless, it still played out. So what I want to highlight now is, because we tapped, this is the rules for the strategy. It's not my rules. I'm just explaining the rules for the strategy that I've learned over the years. Is that if you close bodies above and you tap it even for a second time, you increase the probability of filling the inefficiency. So for now, the probabilities are higher to move up than to claim the low. Okay. Just had to highlight that. Right, so that's some local price action. So you guys can see, I can trade the structures. I can play the momentum up. I can play the momentum down. I can play the momentum up. Okay, I can short over. Guys, can you see that the bigger scenarios on the larger time frames doesn't matter? All I need is this. I need price to move. I need price to be volatile so that I can take those trading opportunities by using my trend-based FIPS and so forth. Okay, so most bearish case scenario that I now just see here locally, guys, is that this could be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that ended over here. Okay, let's just talk bearish. This is an A, 3-wave B, and this is now completing your last leg here to the upside. How high is it going to go? You need to take your FIP from that high, by the way. Okay, so for the bears, this is where you need to reject to get another leg to the downside. Okay, and that's why I'm saying, because the business is done over here, you've already grabbed the liquidity. It would be nice for the bulls to go and grab that liquidity, because everyone that shorted over here, where did they put their stop losses? Above this week. Okay, so for the bears, if we're not going to claim this pivot, this is where I actually technically would like to see the rejection. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, bang, to the downside. For the bulls, you want to claim this pivot. there's going to be game on. Then I'm going to start activating, looking for my swing position here back to the upside. Okay, and that's basically what I wanted to say here on the price of Bitcoin. Let's look at CVD. What is CVD doing? Very neutral at the moment. Slightly more bullish, actually. Slightly more bullish than bearish at the moment. Okay, let's go through some more comments. I know what impact this news gives to the crypto market. Do we have high impact news coming out? Let me go check that out. Bookmarks, here we go. Economic calendar. I hate it when it doesn't save my details. Okay, let's do this again, guys. So you also know how to do it. So usually what I do is I clear everything here under the countries, and I only go and select United States. Okay, and then I save, and then I go to high impact. Right, so it only shows me the high impact news because everything else doesn't matter. Right, so today is Wednesday, 8 p.m. What is the time right now? Ooh, 45 minutes. We have FOM. I don't know, guys. It might be a nothing burger, okay? Because he's just going to read the minutes, okay? I don't know. Let's see. It's high impact, so it could be volatile. Tomorrow we have existing home sales. Friday we have Fed Powell speech. I think this could be nice and volatile. Set us up for the weekend. And then, you know, on Saturday, usually we just get sideways price action anyway. So we basically have high impact news every day, today, tomorrow, and Friday. So let's see how this comes out. Right, but that's still in 45 minutes from now. Screw news, Dewald. I mean, yes, guys. I mean, you know, for me, if I'm in a position, so let's say I played this swing failure pattern, and I am in this position, make no mistake, my stop loss is slightly above. Okay, and make no mistake that I would have already taken profits when we hit these highs. That's just part of my strategy. I have to take profits. Okay, so if the news wants to come out, let it come out. Because if I get stopped, okay, I get stopped out with profits, I don't lose anything. If it wants to run, well, then I just get more profits to the upside. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not in this long. I wish I was, but I was not in front of the charts when this happened. Right, guys, but yeah, I mean, based on what is happening here, okay, there's a high probability to fill this inefficiency. Okay, at least this inefficiency. So let's see how this plays out. I'm very curious to see how this is actually going to transpire, because this is the probabilities of the range high strategy. And it plays out very, very often. Not always. Nothing is perfect. There's no trading strategy that's perfect. But let's say 7 out of 10 times when you see that, okay, the probabilities increase that you are going to at least fill this inefficiency. Okay, you have a little order block over there, here by the 0.618. So you don't have to fill the entire inefficiency, but you at least want to come and tap the 0.618, which has that mini order block there. Right, screw the news. Friday is way more important. Yes, I also think Friday is way more important. Do you trade ETH very often, Dewald, or you just stick to BTC? I actually took an Atom trade. Okay, I didn't trade ETH. I have quite a large spot bag open on ETH, and I bought at really good levels. Okay, so I don't particularly like to day trade ETH unless I see an obvious opportunity, but I did trade Atom. Okay, this is a trade that I highlighted to our community a couple of days ago already when price was here. I think price, can't remember exactly, but price was here somewhere. Or yeah, can't remember exactly. Okay, and I told everyone I'm looking for my box for a load up zone to be tapped. And then it tapped my box. And I bought a little bit. So I have a nice little entry which is protected. Okay, this is the beauty about playing swing failure patterns. Okay, all 786 levels. Okay, so I have a nice little entry here. I saw the trend breakout as well, broke out. So I am, okay, currently still in a long year on Atom. It would be nice for Atom to gain some upwards momentum. Okay, and guys, this is not a swing trade. This is a day, well, maybe it's going to turn into a swing trade, but TP1, TP2, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, 50% profit, 60% profits, I'll see, okay? Because if it starts trading back below, then, you know, it could fall and go and tap the 1-to-1 extension over here. Right, but what I do see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, W, X, Y, which is maybe complete or not completed. But I think what's important for me is that the correction, okay, is now finished after the 0.382. I was waiting patiently. I saw Atom fall over here, and then it got this nice little bounce to the upside, and I told everyone it's not time, okay? It's not time. It's not going to claim the high. There's a high chance it's not going to claim the high because it's not time. And now it is time. If it wants to take the low again, it's fine. Okay, it's now in the zone where I'm looking for longs, building a little bit of a position. Right, if I get stopped out, well, then I'm looking at the next level. Okay, I do like this little order block over here. Okay, so it would be nice if Atom can do that. Now, that to me would be sexy. That level over there. Right. Thank you, Daddy Dewald. Some have called President Daddy. In my opinion, all the TA is the same as tarot cards. Yeah, money, play the game, not patterns. Yeah, very true. Stefan1, it's been a long time, bro. How are you? I think Stefan1's doing well. Okay. Hi, yes, Mr. Goldstar. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you being here. Hi, Crypto, how are you doing? Okay, cool. I see you guys are having a nice little conversation with each other here. I have unfortunately run out of time, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the technical analysis. I've shared all the probabilities, all the scenarios. Make sure that you have those levels on your chart. It's always so important to have a plan to the downside and to have a plan to the upside, okay? Always very importante. So definitely, just to wrap it up here, guys, if we do claim that pivot, okay, whatever happens over here, if price decides to rally and it claims this pivot and it rejects by the 786, I will be interested in a short, because I realize that there's a massive bearish case scenario, okay, where we could crash. Okay, and this is the zone, maximum target, where it has to do it. Okay. Right, legends, have yourselves a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are from around the world. I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers for now.